안녕하세요. You're going to learn how to make conditional and subjunctive sentences just like you're using if in English, and a different way to show more respect by lowering your position, which is called humble form in Korean. Let's go. Before we actually start lesson 9, there is something we'd like to tell you. Now you know how the Korean language works, don't you? A substantial portion of the Korean grammar is about adding grammatical elements to the word. You have to understand this by now. Then what grammatical elements we are talking about here? First, particles. The subject particle, 이가. The object particle, 을. The auxiliary particle, 는. Time, place, and destination particle, 에. And you learned many other particles besides this already. But you still got quite a lot of particles to learn, okay? Postposition particles is called 조사 in Korean. But you don't have to know that. What else? Final endings. 아요, 어요, and 읍니다, 씁니다, which is used for the formal honorific sentences. 을까요? Which is used to ask about second person's opinion about something. Of course, there are more. Final ending is called 종결어미. But as we told you, you don't have to know the exact name of it. Next, grammar expression, or some people might call it compound expression. 문법 표현 or 복합 표현 in Korean. 문법 means grammar. 복합 means compound. We use the term assistant predicate in our learning materials since it has another predicate in it. 을 거예요, which is used to indicate the future tense, your mild intention or possibility when you're almost sure. 을 것 같아요, which is used to indicate the possibility when you're about more than 70% sure. 을 수 있어요 is used to say I can do something. 고 싶어요 is used to say I want to do something. And there are plenty of grammar expressions or compound expressions that you need to learn in Korean. Next, modifier endings, which is called 관형형 어미. Do you remember the ending 은, 는, and 을? They are not particles, but they are endings when they are used as an ending. You use them to turn the predicate into a modifier form. 던 is also one of them. Next, connective endings, which is called 연결어미, like 고, 아서, 어서, 지만, 는데, 은데. You just learned about it. Yes, there are still a lot of connective endings that you need to learn in Korean, and every each ending has its own role. And pre-final ending, 선어말 어미, like the past tense indicator, 앗, 엇, the higher respect ending, 으시, as well as 겟, which indicates your determination, ability, possibility, and neutrality. We showed you only a part of this, but learning Korean is the process of learning these grammatical elements mostly, and use them in the sentence properly and correctly. But you don't have to think it's too complicated because of all the names and terms these things have. Simply, particle is mostly added to a noun. Only auxiliary particles can be added to adverbs and predicates too. And the rest of them are added to the stem of the predicates. So from number 2 to number 6, they are basically the same things to you. The point is, Korean grammar is mostly about adding grammatical elements to the word. And these grammatical elements are used to indicate the exact role of the word in the sentence, like the postposition particles, or to express a certain nuance, meaning, tense, or even your emotion. For example, when you want to say, would you like to do something in Korean, you change the ending. Got it? There are still plenty of endings and grammar expressions with assistant predicates you need to know in Korean. And learning Korean means learning those things. But don't worry too much. It's not like you must know all of those things now to communicate properly. You can make proper sentences based on what you already know for now anyway. We've been using English sentences to help you understand the structure of the Korean language and the meaning of the Korean words and sentence better because you were a beginner. But now you're not a beginner anymore. Now you already know how this language works. The important thing is, from now on, you should know that Korean sentence cannot always be translated perfectly into English, or the other way around. Sometimes simply it's not possible. So please stop trying to directly translate English sentences into Korean. What you really need to do is to learn the exact usage of each grammatical element. In order to do that, please focus on only Korean language itself. Then let's learn how to make conditional and conditional in the subjunctive mood using if in Korean. First of all, you should know that the difference between just conditional and conditional in the subjunctive mood is not very clear in Korean. Let's see the English example first to understand what we are talking about. If I found your watch, I will tell you. You can talk like this in English when you feel there's a real possibility that you will find the watch, right? Let's see the next sentence. If I had 1,000,000,000 won, I would buy a house. 1,000,000,000 won is about 1 million US dollars. Anyway, the main verb had in if clause is in the past tense. It's in the subjunctive mood. You put the main verb of the if clause in the past tense like this in English when the situation is not real and you imagine the situation. But the meaning is present, not the past. Let's see the next example. If I had 1,000,000,000 won, I would have bought a house. Now you put the main verb in the past perfect. Anyway, you use the first had as an auxiliary verb, and the second had is past participle of the verb have. You talk like this when the situation is not real and you are talking about the past. Like this in English, you can tell whether it is the real situation or not clearly. But in Korean, it's not very clear. However, Korean also works quite similarly, so don't worry. Then let's actually learn what to use in Korean. First of all, when you want to say if, you can use 만약. 만약. 만약 is not actually the direct translation of the English word if. If, in English, is a conjunction. You use it in order to introduce the circumstances in which an event or a situation might happen. But 만약 in Korean is a noun, which means the case which would or might happen. Well, you're right. Basically, they indicate the same thing. Therefore, you can use 만약 instead of if. There's one more noun which has exactly the same meaning that the noun 만약 has. It's 만일. 만일. Just one letter difference, so it's easy to remember. I would use 만약 to mean if, though. And I would use 만일 when I actually use it as a noun. But you can use either of them. It's your choice. The strange thing is, in Korean, you can omit this noun, 만약, when you make conditional sentences. Then what should we use instead? Can you guess? Yes, connective ending. There are two endings. The first one is 으면 or 면. When there is a final consonant in the formal block, you use 으면. And when there isn't, you use 면. You don't need this explanation anymore, right? The second one is 는다면, 라면, and 다면. A little bit more complicated, isn't it? Let's learn about the exact usage later again. You cannot omit this ending when you make a conditional sentence. So now you can see how important this ending thing is in Korean. Then, what is the difference between 으면 and 다면? They are almost the same. 으면 is used in order to indicate the condition of the following sentence, but it can also put the clause in the subjunctive mood. 다면 is almost the same as 으면, but the slight difference is that it can sound more like it is almost impossible, or there's a lower chance. So let's think about these two connective endings together again. The second one, 다면, can make the clause sound more like there is a lower possibility, or it is almost impossible, which means subjunctive. in English. But the first one, 으면, also can put the clause in the subjunctive mood. What is this? What's the deal? That is why we told you that in Korean, there is no clear difference between conditional and conditional in the subjunctive mood. They can both sound like either just conditional or subjunctive, according to the situation or context. So our tip is, when the situation can be real, you normally use 으면. And when the situation is not real, you normally use 다면. And you can also deliver a clearer message whether you are talking about a real thing or not with the ending of that sentence, like the second clause, I would buy a house, or I would have bought a house in English. So no problem. Let's make actual sentences with 만약 and 으면, 다면. Let's take a look at the English sentence first. If I found your watch, I'll tell you. As you see the English sentence, we can know that the speaker is thinking about a real possibility. If, 만약, let's drop off the subject I because it can be understood. Watch, 시계. Let's add an object particle, 를. 시계를, 시계를. Find, 찾으면, 찾으면. The base form of the verb find is 찾다. In Korean, 찾 is the stem. You just add a connective ending, 으면. 찾으면. 찾으면. It's actually pronounced 찾으면. 찾으면. 만약 시계를 찾으면. 만약 시계를 찾으면. If I found your watch. As we told you, 만약 is not something actually corresponds to the English conjunction if. It just emphasizes that this is the case that would or might happen. You might want to ask, then what actually corresponds to the English conjunction if? I'll say the connective ending, 으면. Because you cannot indicate that this is a conditional sentence without the connective ending, 으면 in Korean. But you can omit the noun, 만약. Will tell. 말해줄게요. 말해줄게요. What is 말해줄게요? What does that mean? We can see final 르 consonant and 게요, which is used to show your intention. Let's break it down together. Do you remember the verb 말하다? 말하다 is normally used to mean to say, to talk to, and to tell. It doesn't mean make a conversation. It's rather close to inform. When you want to mean to make a conversation or to tell a story, you use 이야기하다 or contractive form 얘기하다. Anyway, when you want to add a meaning that you do something for someone or for the benefit of someone to a predicate, you can use compound expression by adding assistant predicate 주다, 주다, or 해주다 to the stem of the verb. It's a new grammar. Please remember this one. 말하다 has 하 sound in its stem. Therefore, you add 해주다. You know how they work, right? So it becomes 말해주다. 말해주다. What's the difference? 말하다 just means to say or to tell. But 말해주다 means to say something to someone for the benefit of him or her. The verb 주다, which is used as an assistant predicate, actually means to give. So you can imagine how it can mean like that. You give, you offer. It's a favor. 말해주다. Will tell. We can say that it's your intention. Therefore, you can use the final ending, 을게요. 을게요. So you take out 다 sound from 말해주다 and use only the stem of the assistant predicate, 주다. 말해주 plus final 르 consonant and 게요. 말해줄게요. 말해줄게요. Will tell for the benefit of you. 만약 시계를 찾으면 말해줄게요. 만약 시계를 찾으면 말해줄게요. If find your watch, will tell. 만약 시계를 찾으면 말해줄게요. You can omit the noun 만약 and it will also mean if I found your watch, I'll tell you. 시계를 찾으면 말해줄게요. 시계를 찾으면 말해줄게요. You can use the other ending 는다면 too for the same sentence, no problem. It would just sound a tiny bit more like stronger conditional, which means there is a lower possibility. The grammar expression 아 주다, 주다 is used a lot. You don't have to know whether it's grammar expression or cupcake. You can just remember it. Just remember that 주다 is also predicate too, assistant predicate. That's all, and it adds extra meaning to the main predicate. Then let's make a higher respect sentence. Well, it's actually humble form. It's something new again, right? We'll tell you what it means very soon. Let's see the current sentence right away. 만약 시계를 찾으면 말씀해 드릴게요. Or 말씀을 드릴게요. Or 말씀드릴게요. Without the particle 을. Let's see the 만약 시계를 찾으면 part again. We didn't use a higher respect predicate for this part because the subject is I, and the 찾으면 part is an action of the subject I. You don't use higher respect form for yourself. Then let's see the second part. 말씀해 드릴게요. Or 말씀을 드릴게요. Or 말씀드릴게요. It looks like this part has been completely changed, right? We'll explain. This can be a little bit complicated. Please listen carefully. This part, 말씀해 드릴게요, consists of two verbs. The first verb is the main verb 말하다. 말하다. Who's telling? Yes, you are telling. But you are talking to someone who deserves more respect. This 말하다 is one of the noun plus 하다 verbs. 말 part is actually a noun. This noun 말 also has a higher respect form, which is 말씀. 말씀. But you don't use a higher respect form for yourself. That is correct. Amazingly, this noun 말씀 can be a higher respect form and a humble form of the noun 말 at the same time. 말 means words, right? So you can use this noun 말씀 to make your words humble. Interesting, isn't it? So you can use it for your words too. So 말씀해 is from humble form of the verb 말씀하다. 말씀하다. Okay? For your information, 말씀하다 can be a higher respect form for the subject too, as we told you. Let's see the 드릴게요 part. It's the combination of the verb 드리다 and the final ending 을게요. What is 드리다 then? 드리다 is humble form of the verb 주다, to give. It's not a higher respect form. It's a humble form. It makes the subject, I, humble, so that you can show more respect to the object or the listener, you. So by making yourself humble, you can show higher respect to the object, you. Okay? So 말해줄게요 becomes 말씀해 드릴게요. 말씀해 드릴게요. And let's call it humble form rather than higher respect form because it's used to make yourself humble, to show more respect to the object or the listener in this case. 만약 시계를 찾으면 말씀해 드릴게요. 만약 시계를 찾으면 말씀해 드릴게요. 말씀해 드릴게요 part can be used as a one-word verb, which is 말씀드리다. 말씀드리다. It sounds like humble form of the verb 말하다.
말씀 is a noun. Therefore, you can split 말씀드리다 into 말씀 and 드리다. So you can also say 말씀을 드리다, 말씀을 드리다, or 말씀드리다, 말씀드리다 without the object particle 을. I like 말씀드리다 better. 말씀드리다 actually means give your words. So it can mean to tell, self, no problem. 만약 시계를 찾으면 말씀드릴게요. 만약 시계를 찾으면 말씀드릴게요. You can of course omit the noun 만약. 시계를 찾으면 말씀드릴게요. 시계를 찾으면 말씀드릴게요. Or 시계 찾으면 말씀드릴게요. 시계 찾으면 말씀드릴게요. Now let's talk about Korean honorifics again. What did you learn about Korean honorifics so far? There was honorific final endings such as 아요, 어요 with the honorific suffix 요 and 읍니다, 씁니다, 씁니까 with the formal honorific suffix 니다 and 니까. As you know, the honorific endings 아요, 어요 and 읍니다, 씁니다 are for the listener. Again, honorific endings 아요, 어요 and 읍니다, 씁니다 are honorifics for the listener or audience. What does that mean? It means these honorific endings are used to sound polite to the listener. So when the listener and audience hear this 요 or 니다, 니까 sound, they can know that you are trying to sound polite to them. For example, when you want to say I like Korea to someone who deserves honorifics, you can say 저는 한국을 좋아해요. And it sounds polite enough to the listener or audience, right? And you also learned about the higher respect forms. The higher respect forms are used to show more respect to the subject. Again, higher respect forms are honorifics for the subject of the sentence. What does that mean? What is the difference between the listener and the subject? Of course you know the difference. The listener is someone who you are talking to, and the subject is someone or something that you are talking about. Needless to say, when you talk to second person you about the second person you, the listener and the subject are the same. So no matter what the subject is, if the subject is a person or is something directly related to the person, and that person deserves more respect, you can use higher respect forms. There are higher respect nouns and higher respect particles too. But basically, when you want to make a higher respect sentence, you need to turn the predicate or predicative part into a higher respect form first. And there is a rule for it. You add 으시 or 시 sound to the stem. For example, 좋아하다 becomes 좋아하시다. And 이다 becomes 이시다 in a higher respect form. But some verbs have a special higher respect form. For example, 있다 turns into 계시다 when it means to be at a location, to exist, where the current state remains going on. And 먹다 turns into 드시다 in a higher respect form. Sometimes some people don't exactly understand the difference between normal honorific endings for the listener and the higher respect forms for the subject, or don't exactly know why they have to use higher respect forms while they already used honorific suffix 요 in the sentence. Again, the honorific suffixes 요 and 니다 are used to sound polite to the listener, and higher respect forms are used to show more politeness to the subject by raising subject's position. Again, higher respect forms are used to raise subject's position. Therefore, you don't use a higher respect form when the subject is I. You don't raise your position for yourself in Korean. Of course, you can do that when you make a joke or sound crazy by raising your position, but you don't do that normally. And when you're talking to the second person you about the second person you, the listener and the subject are the same person. Therefore, you can use the higher respect form to the listener too. Let's see some examples. 엄마는 한국을 좋아하세요. Or 어머니께서는 한국을 좋아하세요. My mom or my mother likes Korea. The subject is my mom. Sometimes people don't use higher respect forms for their own mother because they are so close to their own mother. But it will sound nice and polite if you use a higher respect forms for your own mother, especially when you are talking about her to someone else at least. 어머니 sounds more formal, so it can go well with the higher respect subject particle 께서. 어머니께서는 sounds better than 엄마께서는. Let's see the next sentence. 한국 좋아하세요? Do you like Korea? As you know, you can use the higher respect form for the second person you too, especially when you ask a question to the second person you. Let's see the next sentence. 할아버지, 아버지가 저한테 초콜릿을 줬어요. Grandpa, Dad gave me chocolate. Please take a close look at this sentence. 할아버지, you called your grandfather and talked to him. 아버지가 저한테 초콜릿을 줬어요. Again, who you are talking to? Yes, you are talking to your grandfather. And who's the subject? Yes, your father is the subject. You are talking to your grandfather about your father. Please take a look at the predicate 줬어요. We didn't use the higher respect form even though the subject is your father. Why? Because grandfather, who you are talking to, is in the higher position than the subject father. This is a good example for the relative honorifics in Korean. When you speak to someone about another person, you must calculate the relative difference in position between the person you are referring to and the person you are speaking to. If the person who you are speaking to is a higher position in terms of age, title, and etc., then the person you are referring to, you shouldn't use the higher respect form for the subject you are referring to. So you need the honorific suffix yo for your grandfather to sound polite, but you shouldn't use the higher respect form for the subject father because grandfather is the father of your father. He's in the higher position and he doesn't want to hear the higher respect forms for your father or for the action that your father has done. Okay? Higher respect form is not official name, but we named it higher respect form because it is used to show more respect the subject by raising subject's position. The higher respect form is not just for very old people or socially higher people. Of course, you use it to older people or to the people who take socially higher position than you, but you can actually use it to anyone to sound more polite. No problem. Especially to the person who you don't know very well or to a stranger. Even though you're very close to this person and has become a good friend with this person, you can keep using higher respect forms when this relationship is from your social life. Even though your age is equal to this person, no problem. It's your choice. Honorific endings and higher respect forms. These two honorifics are the ones you've learned so far. But there's one more. It's honorifics for the object. Let's call it humble form in our learning materials. Then why do we call it humble form? Because it is used to show more respect to the object of the sentence by lowering your position. Lowering your position, okay? Again, this time, you need to lower your position in order to sound more polite to the object. It's different from higher respect forms, please remember. The higher respect form is used to show more respect to the subject by raising subject's position. But humble form is used to show more respect to the object by lowering your position and make yourself humble. Let's see the example right away to understand this better. 저는 선생님한테 선물을 드렸어요. It means I gave my teacher a present, or I gave a present to my teacher. Please take a look at the 드렸어요 part. 드렸어요. The base form of this verb is 드리다. This is the humble form of the verb 주다, to give. So the subject is I. You gave a present to your teacher. Teacher is an object. Doesn't matter if it's a direct object or indirect object. Anyway, a teacher is not someone who takes an action. A teacher here is a receiver. Because of the fact that the subject is I, you need to lower your position to sound more polite to the object. So you use the humble form of the verb 주다, which is 드리다. Again, 드리다 is not a higher respect form. It's a humble form which is used to show more respect to the object teacher by lowering the subject's position. 저는 선생님한테 선물을 드렸어요. Let's see the next sentence. 저는 선생님께 선물을 드렸어요. You can also use the higher respect particle 께 instead of 한테. Yes, 께 is a higher respect particle of 에게 and 한테. So you use higher respect particle 께 for the indirect object teacher and the humble verb 드리다 for the subject I to show more respect to the object teacher. Do you understand the concept? Actually, you've already been using some humble forms without realizing it. The pronoun 저, which means I, is also, so to speak, a humble form. 나 is informal form of I in Korean. When you make an honorific sentence, you need to lower your position by using 저. 우리 also has a humble form, which is 저희. 저희. You might think there are too many things to remember about Korean honorifics. Actually, there are more. So there's no point for you to worry about it. Just kidding. Well, these three things are the major things you must know, so don't worry. Plus, you should know that there are not so many humble forms in Korean, fortunately, so you don't have to worry about it too much, okay? Let's see the last example. 어머니께서 저한테 선물을 주셨어요. My mother gave me a present. 어머니 is the subject. 어머니 gave a present to me. 어머니 is the subject and me, 저, is an object. Therefore, you shouldn't use the humble verb 드리다 in this sentence. You rather use the higher respect form 주시다 for the subject 어머니. 주셨어요. Got it? Okay, very good.
Okay, this is the end of lesson 9 part 1. We're going to talk more about conditional and subjunctive sentences and learn other grammatical elements in part 2. 그럼 다음 비디오에서 만나요. 안녕히 계세요.